Hey, my name is Luke Rivard. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to show you a tour of an interactive prototype that I created for a platform called Sponsorship Hub. Sponsorship Hub, as the name implies, is this hub where marketing professionals, brand representatives, and others can go to search for events for their brands to sponsor. This is a really big part of the marketing world, the marketing profession. And typically this process involves a lot of Google searches, searches on Eventbrite, databases, Excel spreadsheets, a lot of notebooks. And so this platform got created to make that process easier. My team and I essentially evaluated this site through a cognitive walkthrough and also through a couple contextual inquiry sessions with professionals in the field. And we discovered that there were issues. There were a few issues. One was feedback. Oftentimes users were unsure where in the process they were, and what the results of their actions were. Visibility, it was difficult to find certain things when they were most needed. Um, there was a missing feature that seemed to be very important to the users that we tested, and that was to be able to save events, to have a list of saved events. And that helps these users in their process for searching for just the right event, no matter where in the workflow they are. And then the last one was a transparency about how the platform worked. It wasn't sure, or it wasn't clear to the user if this website is auto-generating events through some sort of search algorithm, or if events had to upload all of their materials themselves. And if it was the latter, people would be less likely to use it because we all know that that takes a lot of time. And if it takes a lot of time and energy, there's a good chance that it wouldn't have all of the events that might be available. So let's dive in. I'm going to share my screen and show you the original and talk a little bit about it, and then I'll show you my redesign. So this is the original. Now, unfortunately, I can't click through it as I once was before because the login information got updated. But you can see the basic idea. There's this carousel down here of events. There's a very simple search bar right here where you can search by state, the start date and end date for an event. There's a search button to go through with it. There's also a search box over here, and then an option to either log in or log out. Like I mentioned, the four components that I focused on in my redesign are feedback, visibility, an added feature to save events, and also increasing the transparency about how this platform works. So I will take you to my redesign, which is over here. As you can tell, a lot of the UI components and a lot of the branding is the same. I was very intentional to keep it the same and only focused on the changes that would influence the behavior and the interaction with the user. So the first thing you might notice is that the search, all of the searching happens in one place in the middle of the screen. And the reason for this is because in the original site, there was a basic search and an advanced search. And through our contextual inquiries, we learned that all of the fields in the advanced search were actually necessary and needed by the people that were using it. So I made the decision to include all of those fields right on the homepage so that it can reduce the amount of clicking. I think somebody that's not in this field might get overwhelmed with this information, but that was not at all indicated in our research. The other thing I want to point out is that I adjusted the within the date fields here. So rather than an end date and start date, like the original has it, now the user can search within a span of dates. And this seemed to be very important because sometimes it's unclear on what the specific start or the specific end was. So by including a spectrum of dates, more results will be populated and a greater chance of success will happen. The keyword search is also included up here if the user wants to search by keyword instead of using these fields. That's possible. And then, of course, there's only one search button to click. That was really important because with having two search buttons, one right here and before it was over here, it wasn't sure like which one to use. So just by including one makes it really clear. The other thing I want to point out on this redesign so far is that I included a menu in the upper right corner that has log out, just same as before. I included an about page to address that transparency, and we'll see towards the end how that works. Create an event. That's a feature for a secondary user that I won't get into today. And then saved events, which is the third thing that I focused on, the third aspect that I decided to tackle. So let's dive in. I'll show you how this works. So the user inputs information. Let's say they're looking for an event in Minnesota. And I very purposely put in some ridiculous information here to show you what happens when something doesn't work or there are no search results. So if the expectations are really high or there aren't any events that might meet this, the user is led to an error page or a sorry page. This is important because this was not in the original MVP. And at times, or not at times, but every time a user clicked search and there were no results, nothing would happen. Or it would be brought to a page that had suggested features without indicating those suggested events without conveying that those are suggested events. And it was very confusing. So this error page at least provides some feedback as to indicating that there aren't any events that meet that criteria. And it also includes some forgiveness as well, giving the user some suggestions for words to search by. So we'll go back and we'll try again. And this time we will choose within the whole summer, June 1st to the end of August, with a minimum amount of attendees to be 25,000. Click search. And finally, we have some results. The search fields stay exactly where they are in case the user needs to adjust those parameters. It's clear that these are the results. There's the showing search results for this criteria. The user can refresh those results if something changes. The keyword search now gets off to the side to decrease the amount of clutter that's in the middle here. There's a back option in case the user wants to just completely start over from square one. And then scrolling down, you can see that these are the results. Now, again, the style is very similar to the original design where it's essentially these event cards that get rotated. So that's stayed the same. I included the dates to increase the relevance to what this user might be looking for. It shows the amount of results on the left-hand side, which increases the visibility. And it also gives the user the option to sort these results by a series of filters. This would be considered a stretch goal. I did not build this out in my prototype, but ideally the user would be able to sort by either date or event type or attendee number, whichever sort of parameter they might. The other big part in this design, in order to increase visibility, is I included a map view, which both of our contextual inquiry participants indicated they would really, really love to have. So by clicking the map view, you can see the same event results, but now in the map. And if you click on one of the event pins, the title and the dates pop up along with the picture. So this is the same event card as before. And if you click it, it'll take you to the event page. And here on the event page, this is very similar to the original in the MVP. I adjusted the way that the header and the dates show up here to increase the visibility. Before it was in this part of the website, which got a little bit confusing to the users. Again, I included the back to search results so the user always knows where they are in the flow. And in addition, this is where we get to use the newly built save an event feature. So if this looks like the right event for what you're looking for, or maybe this might be something that you want to check out later, you can click the save button here. And now this event gets saved to your email account that you had already created. I didn't build that out just to save some time. And if you go up to your saved events, you can see all of the events that you've saved before. And sure enough, the Minnesota State Fair is populated on this page. You can look at these options in the map view or the gallery view, whichever you prefer. You can sort them just like before. You can go back to searching if you'd like to, if you just want to start over and search for another event. Or if we go back into our saved events, you can access the ones that you have already seen. And then the very last feature is about transparency, and that has to do with this about page. So if I click about, you can easily see. Now this is just placeholder text, but this gives the chance to this company for Sponsorship Hub to indicate who they are, how does this site work, and also to include a contact form if people have questions or comments or anything else that they would like to share. So that concludes the prototype tour. I will stop sharing my screen. All right. Thanks so much for being with me here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can do that either through my portfolio, that's lukerivarddesign.com. You can do it here through YouTube or find me on LinkedIn. I'm easy. I'm easy to find and I'm around. So hope to talk to you soon and thanks so much. Have a great night.